How's it going, my peeps? And here is the prediction game video for the triple threat #1 contendership match. You're going to see a turning point. It's going to be Bobby Roode versus AJ Styles versus James Storm. And whoever wins that match gets a title shot against the TNA World Heavyweight Champion at Final Resolution, which is the next pay-per-view. And the loser of the match, the one who gets pinned or submits to the winner, he doesn't get a title match until, at least until Bound for Glory. That's assuming he gets a title shot then by winning the Bound for Glory series or any other way, you know. So a lot is on the line in this matchup, and I've got to say, this is a very unique match. We've never seen this before. It's really, I gotta give TNA props for this, but at the same time, this whole thing where the loser doesn't get a title shot until next year's Bound for Glory, that's huge. That's a big thing there. So for some it's a negative because one of these guys you won't see him in a world title match for a long time. But on the other hand, the fact that something like this has never been done before, and it's just so, in my opinion, it's really unique, and I'm really looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this match more than the main event. You know, the main event, I'm pretty sure, I have no doubt in my mind, that main event should be a great match between Jeff Hardy and Austin Aries, should be entertaining. But this match, it has, like, there's so much on the line here that you just gotta watch this to find out what happens, you know? And I like all three of these guys. I'm a fan of all three of these guys, AJ, Storm, Bobby. I would like to see all of them, you know, get title shots before Bound for Glory, and, you know, in the beginning when this was announced, the fact that the loser doesn't get a title shot for such a long time, I was against it. I was like, come on, you know, all three of these guys belong in the main event scene, and we're not gonna see one. I know I'm repeating this so much, but it's a cool match. Bottom line, it's a cool match, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's also an unpredictable matchup. That's also one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to it, because, like I said, they're all main eventers. It's not like they matched up two main event guys and one mid-carder. I mean, yeah, AJ Styles lately hasn't really been in that main event scene, but he can jump right back in that main event scene just like that. So yeah, three main eventers. Who do I think is going to win this match, and why? Well, I've already stated in the official prediction game video. If you haven't checked that out, it's the Austin Aries versus Jeff Hardy prediction game match simulation. I posted up part 1 in that video, or, you know, the first prediction game video I upload is always the one where I go over every single one of my predictions. And I stated I think Roode is going to win the match, and AJ Styles is going to be the one to get pinned. That's my prediction. Now, why do I think that? Well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over a bunch of scenarios I can see happening. I like to do this a lot. You know, look at the scenarios, the possible situations that could happen, and just think about it, see how realistic that would be, and stuff like that. So, let's start with the scenario I can see happening the most, and that's Roode winning the matchup and pinning AJ Styles in the process. What would happen then? Roode would get his title shot at Final Resolution against Jeff Hardy, I believe. That's if Jeff Hardy wins his matchup. So, yeah, I've got to take that into mind too. Whoever wins the main event match, you know, the ladder match. So, let's say Jeff Hardy wins the ladder match, and Roode wins this matchup, and AJ's the one to get pinned. So, try and follow me here. Then, Roode would get a title shot against Jeff Hardy at Final Resolution, one-on-one. And I would assume Roode loses that match. And then they have like one more match at another pay-per-view and Roode loses that too. Or maybe wins it. I don't know. That's not really what matters here. But basically Roode gets the title shot against Jeff Hardy at Final Resolution and maybe a pay-per-view afterwards. Wins or loses, I don't know. But as far as AJ Styles goes, who I think would get pinned in this situation, I could see a bunch of things happening with AJ Styles. I could see him turning heel the past couple of weeks, especially when he was involved with Kurt Angle and teaming up with Kurt Angle. You know, he's been kind of, I guess, not really trusting Angle. And lately on Impact, this past Impact, you had that confrontation between AJ and Storm. AJ complaining about Storm being in this matchup, which isn't really face behavior. So yeah, he could turn heel. and just get pissed off at the fact that he can't get a title shot until Bound for Glory, and he could maybe even join Aces and Eights. Who knows? I don't think he's gonna join Aces and Eights, even if he does turn heel. But what I could see happening with AJ Styles if he gets pinned and, you know, Roode wins the matchup. Option 1, yes, there's a bunch of options in this scenario, so there's like a bunch of scenarios into this specific scenario too. So yeah, option 1, AJ could win the Bound for Glory series, and then he'd get his title shot at Bound for Glory as a heel or as a face. Although I do think if he does win the Bound for Glory series, he might do it as a face, but at the same time, the past 2 Bound for Glory series, faces won those. So I think it'd be about time for a heel to win Bound for Glory series this time. But AJ Styles as a heel and winning the Bound for Glory series as a heel after not being able to get a title shot until Bound for Glory doesn't seem right, or I don't know, it doesn't fit right, or isn't as fitting as AJ Styles winning the Bound for Glory as a face after all this time where he couldn't get a title shot. I think that would be a better scenario, but at the same time, like I said, we haven't had a heel win the Bound for Glory series since it started. We've just had 2 faces, which were Bobby Roode when he was a face, and Jeff Hardy this year. So yeah, but that's assuming AJ even wins the Bound for Glory series or does actually get a title shot at Bound for Glory. Maybe if he loses, he doesn't even get a title shot at Bound for Glory and doesn't manage to get a title shot. Option number 2, you know, for AJ getting a title shot at Bound for Glory, what could happen is AJ wins the X Division Championship at, I don't know, the pay-per-view before Destination X, or even before that. At some point before Destination X, you know, some of you might know now what I'm talking about or where I'm going with this. So AJ wins the X Division Championship, and as you all saw this year, Austin Aries, who was the X Division Champion, he handed over his X Division Championship at Destination X, or before Destination X, the Impact before that, I think, so he could get a title shot at the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. But he did that on one condition. He asked Hulk Hogan to do the same or give the same opportunity to whoever holds the X Division Championship every single year before Destination X. So whoever's the champion just before Destination X gets the choice. He can relinquish his championship, his X Division Championship, so he can get a shot at the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. So what I can see happening is AJ wins the X Division Championship and gives that championship to Hulk Hogan, or relinquishes it, so he could get a title shot for the TNA World Championship at Destination X. And I know Destination X is before Bound for Glory, so some of you might be like, okay, but that's, you know, before Bound for Glory, so, and if he does lose, then he can't get a title shot until Bound for Glory. Well, if that happens, I'm assuming that they throw out the stipulation that AJ can't get a title shot at Bound for Glory, so AJ Styles ends up figuring out this loophole, or, you know, finding out a way to get a title shot before Bound for Glory at Destination X. That would be pretty cool in my opinion. I think that would be cooler than AJ Styles winning the Bound for Glory series. So yeah, if AJ Styles does indeed lose this Sunday, I would like to see that happen, you know, AJ figuring out that, hey, I could maybe win the X Division Championship before Destination X, and then relinquish the championship, and that would maybe overrule the decision, and I could get a title shot before Bound for Glory. I think that would be pretty cool. And then another scenario I could maybe see is James Storm winning this match by pinning Bobby Roode, not AJ Styles, but Roode, to kind of end the feud once and for all, because then not only would he have beaten Roode at Bound for Glory in that street fight, but he would have beaten Roode and stopped him from getting a title shot until the next Bound for Glory. So what happens then is Roode doesn't get a title shot, I guess, until, you know, the next Bound for Glory, and James Storm gets a title shot at Final Resolution, and maybe also gets a rematch after that. But the issue with that is, I don't think James Storm, if he faces Jeff Hardy this soon, I don't think he's going to win the championship. But if James Storm faces Jeff Hardy a little bit later down the line, or faces somebody else maybe, then I think Storm has a chance at becoming once again the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Actually, at Lockdown, I think it'd be pretty cool to have James Storm versus Jeff Hardy for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that'd be a pretty big match. And if none of the previous scenarios I just talked about happen, then what I could see happening is AJ wins the match by pinning Roode, and Roode doesn't get a title shot for, you know, a year, and AJ gets his championship match at Final Resolution. But I'm thinking Roode wins the matchup. If that doesn't happen, James Storm wins the matchup, and, well, obviously if that doesn't happen, then obviously AJ wins the match. So, yeah, I'm still going with Roode on this match. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this in-depth, in-detailed prediction on why I think Roode is going to win the match and AJ is going to be the one to get pinned or submit to Roode. That said, I'm out, guys. See ya.